Hey, I'm back with another one, man. Tonight we're gonna talk about, some of the things that I experienced on a level of personal development while in the belly of the beast. I know a lot of times when people talk about their experiences being incarcerated, they only talk about, you know, some of the traumas and some of the trials and tribulations and the adversities and things of that nature. Yeah, I talk about them things, but I want to talk about how I was able to not only build uh, certain disciplines to help me better myself as a man, but some of the principles and the characteristics that I was able to develop, you know, during the 16 years. And I was thinking on it, I was like, you know, because the person who I am today, it just didn't start out here in society. It started in there. It was it was really in the year 1993 that I really started after going in and out of the hole, being locked down, you know, 6 months here, 8 months here, 9 months, sometimes a year, being on solitary confinement, with nothing but my thoughts, thinking about my life and what I wanted to do uh, to better myself. But while going through that, I realized that even as a diamond, in order for a diamond to shine, in order for a diamond to become, perfected, it got to go through years and years of intense heat and pressure. It got to go through that. And, they say pressure either is going to make you or break you, and pressure can bust a pipe, but it can also build you up. And so going through them times, man, of difficulty, I developed strength, you know. Going through them times of difficulty, I developed resilience, mental resilience, the kind of toughness that you need to get through, you know, those rough times, because rough times don't last, but tough people do. And it's gonna take some time to reflect on who you are and who you ultimately want to be. And as a man, going through your growth and development, going through the period of your growth and development, you got to be the message that you bring. Ain't but so much fluff, or ain't but so much image that you can carry around until you get to that point that you got to get in tune with you. And so, having the resilience, having the ability to have the perseverance to press on in spite of the obstacles, in spite of the temptations, in spite of the trials and tribulations, persevering through the fire, walking through the fire, talking about, man, and it was difficult. It was difficult at times, but having the ability to reading really helped me. I never forget a quote from Harriet Tubman. She said, "I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only that they knew that they was in slavery." So I realized that being incarcerated was the first time I really experienced freedom. So I was mentally incarcerated. I was mentally imprisoned in society before I was physically in prison. And a lot of times, man, when you look at your life, a lot of people that's looking at this video, they might be like, I ain't in prison, I'm free, I'm in society. But if you experiencing fear, doubt, self-disbelief, or you don't have the knowledge of self, you're in prison, in society. You're in prison, and a lot of us haven't really been conditioned to believe in the full capacity and potential that we possess. And I know that I wasn't, but I started reading, man. I started really digging into books, reading books on Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, Elijah Muhammad, the list goes on. You know, Marcus Garvey said, intelligence rules the world, ignorance carries the burden. There's different quotes that I used to write down and memorize, because in the tools of the workshop of your mind, where things are made of thought and where we build up character, we have to use the hammer to pound in the truth until it become a part of every part. And so being consistent self-discipline became, one of the things that I was able to utilize that time with. But the power of my mind's imagination, like I said, being in a 6x9 or 8x12, however small or large the cell wasn't no bigger than the bathroom. Sometimes, you got to close your eyes. You can't just be in there looking at no wall, and use the power of your imagination. I realized the power of my mind's imagination, man, walls, steel, or none of that could stop me from believing in the infinite possibility of what the future held. I knew that when I came out here in society that I was gonna be great. And this ain't got nothing to do with no money. This ain't got nothing to do with no materialistic. This is about my success is predicated on the things that I have overcame in life. I'm a living manifestation of what success is, all by and through the grace of God. And so, again, going through that fire is like, that steel, like a piece of steel getting beaten to shape, going in the fire, bringing it out, beating that steel into shape until, you become perfected. And man become perfected through the things that he suffered. And so my suffering, man, wasn't in vain. I'm not, it would never, ever, glorify my story when it comes to, being in prison. Everything that I've told y'all about, it was just based on the fact that that was a part of my experience. But on the flip side of that coin, man, it's some great things that took place. And like I said, I was able to read books on psychology, Awakening the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. And there was a few more books that I read that was really powerful and instrumental, to my personal growth and development. And a lot of guys, I came in contact with, I was able to exchange that intellectual property. I was able to talk to guys that was going through moments of depression, guys that, was thinking about suicide, guys that was, ain't had a possibility of parole. Just talking to them, giving them a hope, being a mentor, being a guy with a voice of reason. And it was a lot of situations that I ain't never really broadcasted or never really told certain individuals that, I stopped dudes from killing dudes. Stopped dudes from pushing that knife in dudes or getting their head hit. Dude like, I'm great crush now. No, don't do that, man. And he violated me, man. He talked crazy to me, or he did this or he did that. Man, don't do that to Slim, man. Dudes never knew that it was coming. Some guys that a guy go to and might tell him that a great crush a dude, they egg him on, man. Yeah, crush him, punish him, Slim. And, they end up getting more time added on, or just, some because they couldn't, put their intellect over their emotions, because a lot of us wasn't taught emotional intelligence. Wasn't taught that. It wasn't taught, how to deal with our emotions from an intelligent point of view. Everything was about, man, going on, how you feel, and that's not man. Man, the definition of man, you're defined by the principles that you live by. There's certain things you will do, certain things that you won't do, you know, and those are the principles that I developed. You know, when you establish to yourself principles of action and see that you ever act according to those principles, your passions ain't gonna have no rule over you. Your emotions ain't gonna have no rule over you. And those are the laws that I live by. Those are the principles that I live by as man. And so, like I said, you know, out of the greatest misfortune, there was unseen blessings, blessings that I never knew, things that I accomplished within myself. You know, I've never even imagined it until I opened up my mind's eye. And so I want people to look at this and say that, hey, man, if I can do it, you can do it too.